Hey guys, welcome back to License to View. This is a weekly pop culture podcast. I'm Jason, that's Zach. What's going on, man?
Man, just another busy week. Adjusting to a different sleep schedule every other week is how it feels like. But you know, making it day by day, dude. Sometimes it's just one of those days.
Yeah, man.
That's what Limp
Just
Bizkit,
one of
that's
those
what Limp
days.
Bizkit taught me, anyways. So
It's one of those days, man.
I was just
Um,
listening to that. I feel like I don't remember what I was. I was in the gym, and I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden, that song came on. I was like, hell yeah, I want to smash some shit.
that was one band that I do want to say this too.
hmm
There's a resurgence
Is there?
of young people who who enjoy new metal,
Mm,
right? And it's not like hey, because they weren't alive. I'm seeing it on TikTok.
yeah.
Like the fashion is coming back. I'm seeing people like talk about new metal bands with like reverence who didn't experience new metal when it was who was around.
Right.
And Limp Bizkit is one of the bands that I never liked. You know, my favorite new metal band.
hmm
I mean, I was a huge fan of Korn.
Corn's the shit, dude.
I mean, Deftones is one of my favorite bands of all time, but they're not a new metal band per se. But they kind of got lumped into
Into that whole group. Yeah.
genre because they have some rappy stuff here and there. They have some turntables, but Linkin Park is like
I was
number
gonna
one,
say, I mean,
right?
like the OG's got to be like Linkin Park, but
I mean, Korn, that first Korn album, I replayed a ton as a kid.
hmm I don't know. I didn't listen to do Corn all that much. I mean, I got the one. It's got the one song that everybody knows from Corn. I can't remember what it does. I just have like the the instrumental like in my head, but that's all I got. Oh no,
That's Freak on a Leash,
Freak on a
probably.
Leash, yeah.
Yeah,
Pop, pop, pop,
yeah.
pop, 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 pop.
Freak on a Leash, Blind, were some of the big jams.
hmm
But Limp Bizkit never my go-to, man. I never liked them.
I think it was. I don't know. I wasn't really like a huge Limp Bizkit fan back in the day. I've only recently, and it's really like just the one song, which I'm pretty sure I can't even remember. I think it's like Break Some Shit, but
Yeah, break stuff or
Break
something,
Stuff,
right?
yeah. But it's like because I think it was because it's like I was listening to a last podcast episode, and I don't remember
Oh
what the
yeah, they
joke
talk
was.
about it all the
Like
time.
somebody said like something one of the lyrics from the song, and then I think Henry busted out with "It's just one of those days," and then I was like, I recognize that, and so I like looked it up again, and I was
Yeah,
like, you know what, this low key kind of a banger, dude. So
I mean, I don't agree,
that's fair.
but there are other new metally bands that definitely like. I'll say this: it's not new metal, but industrial metal,
Mm,
right? Industrial rock, industrial music. It is one of my like go-to like favorite like guilty pleasure genres
Mm-hmm.
because everyone likes like Nine Inch
Yeah,
Nails. Right, I'm a huge fan of Nine
that's
Inch
fair.
Nails.
Yeah.
But it's bands like Ministry,
Mm.
like bands that I would never be caught dead going to see them live.
Ah.
Not because I'm embarrassed of the band or liking the band, but it's more so because I don't look like any of the people who are going to see Ministry or even Nine Inch Nails, I guess, in the heyday.
Yeah.
But because it's me in Hawaiian shirts and flip flops and a bunch of people in like leather and like buckles and shit, you
Yeah.
know. So it definitely was not. That's one of my go-to like genres of you wouldn't expect me to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But Limp Bizkit never made it.
Yeah. Probably not. I don't know. I think if I was listening to them back in the day, I'd probably have enjoyed them a lot more because it feels like one of those bands where it's like
It's just one of
when
those days, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about some he said she said bullshit, dude. So, uh,
Well, I mean, think about her, dude. Like that time period, man, shit was everywhere.
yeah.
You turn on the TV, like it's all Papa Roach and I mean, I was a huge Papa Roach
Oh,
fan.
dude, don't even. I can't. Scars remind me, man, that the past is too real. I just can't.
Well, that first album, Infest,
Mm-hmm.
was the first CD I ever had ever. Was Papa Roach Infest Explicit, which is the album that has Last
Yeah.
Resort and Blood
All
Brothers
the
and all
bangers,
that shit.
dude.
Yeah, and they maybe it was for a 20th anniversary or something, but this last
I
year
think so.
on YouTube they did a bunch of like YouTube in studio record like performances of that album,
Damn, that's
and I was like watching the videos and I was like, damn dude, like these people make fun for a long time. People like no for us like through high school, late 20 two
it's definitely
thousands,
like a memes
people
band for sure.
people made fun of new metal bands. It was the common thing to make fun of,
Yeah.
but the riffs.
Mm-hmm.
There's the main riff of Blood Brothers from Papa Roach is fucking killer.
Yeah.
And like the videos were so good that I was super impressed watching that,
Yeah.
and hearing those songs because I really haven't listened to those songs since I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that really, I don't know, I guess in my mind it's classified as new metal, but I might be like fucking crucified if I say this, but like the band that reminds me of like that era that I listened to a lot that I don't think I've even listened to or like heard from since like high school or middle school was fucking Disturbed. I can't remember the last time like
Yeah, I think they're in that lumped up in that.
yeah.
I think they're in that ballpark too. Um, yeah, I never liked Disturbed.
I just it reminded me, especially because like what you just said about like TV and stuff reminds me of like watching like the VH1, what was it like the top 20 music video
Yep.
countdown or something like that. And it felt
Hmm.
like it was around that time when like Disturbed was like super popular, and I would see like one of their new songs like make it at like number 19 because it's never popular enough to be like outside of
Yeah.
like honorable mentions or some shit.
Well, I mean MTV2, like Headbangers Ball or whatever, they would play music videos, and I remember seeing the music video to fucking their cover of Land of Confusion,
Yeah.
which is a Genesis song,
Hmm.
and I could not fucking stand it. I could not, because I'm a huge Genesis fan.
Hmm.
I come from a huge Genesis, Phil Collins, Peter Gabriel household.
Right.
So hearing this, like, I, even when I was in high school, being like, this band is fucking goofy, you know. And then seeing the music video, I was like, the animation looks cool. It looks like a fucking like a Spawn comic book, but
Yeah.
it's Disturbed. And then the
I like
song
the
is I
mascot guy. He looks super dope.
I think it looks fucking goofy.
I
But then
think it
again,
looks like a Todd McFarlane character. Like
yeah, which is
it looks super
and Todd
cheesy. I love it.
McFarlane, yeah, Todd McFarlane stuff in general, it's like borderline cheesy
Yeah.
and like okay, this is kind of cool. It's like the did you ever listen to the band? I never did, so I don't know what they sound like or I know like I couldn't tell you what songs they sing,
Hmm.
but Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, I listen to them.
So I
They're like
never
I
listened to that
feel
band
like they're
before.
like the off-brand Disturbed almost. Like I feel like a lot of people who
Is that
listen
what
to
it is?
Disturbed listen to Five Finger Death Punch, but like they're not as
Right.
popular.
So I know they're a huge band, and I know that people really like them.
Hmm.
They're kind of like that mainstreamy like normie
Yeah.
metal, and this is gonna venture into like snobby territory. So I apologize, but as a dude who listens to like Bolt Thrower or At the Gates or like death metal or black metal bands,
Hmm.
shit like that, or even like hardcore bands. So when Five Finger Death Punch blew up, I was like already long gone from mainstream metal bands.
Right.
I was listening to like what I would consider real metal, which is not true, but is what people would consider on Reddit. Like people would be like,
Yeah.
yeah, Five Finger Death Punch is not a real metal band, but
That's like
the
pop metal basically.
yeah, the closest I would get to like a poppy metal band would be like Trivium because they shred, they're good, and they also have albums where they're super duper thrashy
Yeah.
and albums where they're super duper catchy,
I
right?
still
They can
listen
do
to.
both.
I haven't. I mean, you were the one who introduced me to Trivium like a couple of years ago, but like I still listen to the Sin in the Sentence like all the time. Like I think. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know a lot of their older albums, but like I love that album from them. Super.
Well, it's but real quick. So like, I see my friends on Instagram, people I know,
Hmm.
who I'm not like best friends with, people I do know, who like really like Five Finger Death Punch, and I can't not cringe.
Mm.
And I don't know what the band sounds like. I just know the stigma around the
I
band.
mean, it basically sounds like Disturbed. Like it's the same type of music.
Okay. Okay. Well then, yeah, I would absolutely can't stand it. I would absolutely fucking hate it then. I will say though about Trivium, they're one of my favorite bands. Um, have been for a long time, and they're the one. There are a few bands from like when I was like in middle school,
Hmm.
eighth grade kind of shit. That because when you're, I'm not sure how you were in your music journey because you don't. We talk about music before, and you don't really super care about bands like that.
Um,
It's like Maroon 5, Fall Out Boy.
yeah, I mean, it's like I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I don't have like a hardcore following of any band, but I definitely have like, and I don't really have like a specific genre that I like prefer over any others. I don't know. I kind of like dip my toes into like a bunch of different things, which is probably why I don't have like a hardcore following of like any specific band.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, there's definitely like bands that I've liked and like I try to follow their stuff. Like I think as far as like uh like a hardcore post hardcore, I think the closest band to that like actual band that I've probably been like following since high school would probably be
Gavin.
like Dance Gavin Dance, yeah.
Yeah, Gavin. But like
That's probably
so.
like
Oh, hold on. Your window of my OBS is jacked up right now.
oh shit,
I
really?
gotta. It's not your fault. I gotta fix it. You started lagging a little bit on my end. I got you back though. You're good. Um, what I was gonna say about
You ain't fix it,
Trivium
just let me know.
is that in high school for like the metalhead journey, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or like the hardcore kid journey, whatever subset of aggressive music you're into, it's like consistently the journey to find what's heavier. It's always like heavy. Like the band's not good because they're not heavy enough. This band's not good. This band's lame because they're not heavy, and that's like always like the constant phrase that you would hear when you were a child, like discovering like metal bands. It's like, oh, well, that band's good, but if you like pussy shit, like if you don't like heavy bands, you know,
That band's good if your balls haven't dropped.
yeah, you know. I remember being in high school and I saw this kid in my class was wearing a Devil Wears Prada shirt, you know,
Fuck, dude, I love Devil Wears Prada.
and I was never a huge fan of that band. I liked two albums,
Hmm.
and then that's because that was their most like their most heavy albums, and then
Yeah, I mean, more so than Devil Wears Prada, I think I always gravitated towards August Burns Red,
oh,
but
I've always loved August Burns Red, yeah,
yeah.
but with so his kid was wearing a Tidwap shirt, I think is what the band's called, and damn, I keep fucking your window keeps jacking up.
Hmm.
I don't know, it's annoying as shit. Whatever. So this kid was wearing a Devil Wears Prada shirt. Oh my god, I'm gonna go crazy. And I was like, we were talking about bands and music, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I was never a huge fan of that band. And they're a super Christian band, and inherently that usually means, at least at the time, that the band sucks. Like the band isn't heavy.
It's not
It's
heavy.
not heavy.
Yeah.
The lyrical content is not going to be heavy, which is not true. There are definitely super duper heavy Christian bands, like Impending Doom is
Yeah.
a super heavy Christian death metal band, deathcore
Mm-hmm.
band. But like the journey to find the heavy was always the profound like, okay, I gotta keep finding the chug, keep finding the next band that has the heaviest detuned guitars and
Right.
gutturals or whatever. But like there are certain bands that I loved that would stay in the rotation even though they weren't necessarily the heaviest band. Like Trivium's one
Mm-hmm.
of those bands, right? Because their musicianship was so good, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like the guy's voice a lot. But the dudes, they
Yeah.
shred, right? Even though they can write these catchy songs, they shred. They have their album from 2008 is called Shogun, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
super duper thrashy album, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
super catchy. It's insane. It's the perfect combination. It's one
Yeah.
of my favorite albums by them, and I'm going crazy right now.
Is it something that I need to fix? Like, do I need to do something
I
or?
don't know. It happens every now and then. It's never it usually doesn't happen this bad. It usually happens like maybe once
Mm-hmm.
while we're recording and then just stops. But you're like it's like every 2 seconds it's going crazy.
Jesus.
So it's in the recording. It's gonna be me fucking like fixing your window over and over again, like resizing it over and over again.
Damn.
So hopefully we'll see what happens. Um, but but to transition out of music stuff, dude,
Mm-hmm.
what have you been up to, man?
Oh, it's been a decent little week here. So, the first thing is that I did watch Tressen,
Mm-hmm.
finish that. Uh, yeah, dude, that's like I find it hard to think of a show that is like more in our fucking wheelhouse than
Yeah,
that show.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's
like
got
supernatural that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the main character is basically like Dresden, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like the supernatural like peacekeeper, and she's also sort of. I mean, she works with the police, so she's got that whole like,
Yeah.
uh, what's it called, consultant type of thing going on that Dresden's got, and it's like all based around like, yeah, like ghosts and zombies and like all the fucking weird hooky dooky shit that goes bump in the night going on. Um, I I remember you talking last week about the pacing for the show and how it's a little fast, and I
Mm-hmm.
will agree. But more so than that, I think the thing that I was the most disappointed with was the overarching season plot line,
Yeah.
because it just turned out to be the God of War, and I've seen that plot line like 1,000 times in like comics and video games and manga and like different anime and like different shows, and like that's so all worn out where it's like, yeah, he's a God of War, yeah, he wants conflict, oh, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
like I haven't seen that like 1,000 other times.
I think the one.
So that was like probably one of the like low key like most disappointing things.
Yeah.
um Positives, love the creature designs. I love the different mythology, all the different races and stuff like that. And I like that it's not like the traditional. Like there's definitely some of the traditional stuff in there, like you've got the fairies, you got a little bit of like elves, but I mean like the fucking horse people are rad as shit. I love those.
Yeah.
You've got like the wind nymphs, those are cool.
I do think
And like literal like electro thunder gods.
yeah,
So
the caveat I want to say to what your complaint was real fast
mhm.
about the war god thing. I think that
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I think the one thing that I give it credence, or however you want to say it, I give it like a pass, is
Yeah.
because the Filipino culture is super duper tribal. So it
Yeah.
makes sense that there would be a like if you're watching like Supernatural and they're trying to revive Ares, like, well, why the fuck do Dean and Sam want to fucking talk to Ares? Who
Right.
gives a fuck, right? But in the Philippines, like, this is a tribal based on tribal culture, so to me it
Right.
makes sense, right? It makes sense in
Okay.
that sense of where it's like those are chieftains, right? Like, who fight
Right.
like Native American chieftains, right? Like there's gonna be a God of War there. But if you don't know that, or if they don't take the time to explain the cultural significance of why that makes sense, you're gonna think, okay,
Yeah.
this is just some fucking ghost guy, just some
Yeah.
ghost dude. You know what I mean? Like what they could have done, it would cost more time or whatever, but to
Mhm.
really break down the idea that these are like, yeah, it takes place in the Philippines or in Asia, but these are like islandy tribal monsters, like
Yeah.
naturey monsters. And that's why it's so what different or whatever. But to not,
I like that a little bit. I think you got a little hint of that specifically when she like meets the head of the like horse god
yeah,
tribe, because his whole like, I don't even know, like the CEO observatory, whatever the fuck he was at. He's got definitely like that naturalistic aspect to it. Like his throne is like a giant tree, so you
yeah,
definitely kind of get that like more of like, yeah, like Mother Nature, like connected with like that sort of like naturalistic realm, specifically with him. But a lot of the other ones, I really feel like that didn't. If that is a big part of like the Filipino culture, because I really don't know much about it, that really doesn't shine through in like a
yeah.
lot of the other gods that show
Well,
up.
it's like if you
Uh,
watch an anime and they fight Oni,
yeah,
since everyone has seen so much anime, you are
yeah,
predisposed to understand the general idea of
hmm,
Japanese demons, right? But if you didn't
yeah,
know anything about the Philippines or anything about Filipino monsters or whatever, it's a
yeah,
whole fucking diatribe book of
yeah.
creepy ass baby monsters and shit, right? Like all these fucked up things.
That was a creepy episode. That fucking baby
Yeah.
monster. Ugh.
You know,
And it was like also, I think it I think it got better later on in the season, but I think the first couple episodes had that problem where it was like, I mean, it definitely felt like the because specifically with like the first, I think it was like two or three, they definitely took on that like grim fairy tale aspect to it, where it was like they
mhm.
had the story and like the moral of the story or whatever, and specifically with like the baby goblin episode where you have the whole thing where she basically gets her comeuppance with a bunch of baby goblins.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I bought the first trade because they're
mm-hmm,
putting them out in English. So I got that this past week. I haven't read it yet,
mm-hmm,
but I have volume 2 and 3 on pre-order. I think they come out in a few months. But the one thing I'm looking forward to, and I don't know because I haven't done enough research to know if this is a thing or not that happens in the show, but is that I know from fucking my life or from my family's lives that, like, one of the most Catholic places in the world is the Philippines, right? It's a massively Catholic country, right? But none of these monsters are
Mhm.
Catholic or like no Christian monsters. You know what I mean? These are all like very like
Yeah.
traditional Filipino monsters. So I wonder
Yeah.
if there's a Dresden element where like eventually Tressa has to fight like traditional demons. Like if
Mm.
she goes to All Saints Day, which is the equivalent to Day of the Dead, like is she gonna
Hmm.
fight like because there's the underworld in the show, right? Well, that is that
Right.
is that separate from hell? Like, are there separate things? Because there's clearly the lady that she talks to is like the assistant to the death god.
Yeah.
That
Assistant to
that's
death.
not
Yeah.
Lucifer, but the
Yeah.
Philippines is so Catholic, so I wonder like, do they eventually cross over to where there's like because in Dresden they go through different gods. You know what I mean? There's a
Hmm.
different god, different deities, all that kind of thing. So I wonder if this show or this comic book eventually touches on it. Because to me, that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really dope if they did something like that. I would like to see that, like, mixing of the cultures and like how those different cultures like interact with each other. Specifically, yeah, like the Filipino monsters with like traditional like Catholic Christianity, like demons and angels and that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
because they
Uh,
show they show. I'm pretty sure they show fathers in the show, don't they? Aren't there a couple priests in the first few episodes?
I can't remember.
I swear I saw a priest somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Either way, the premise for the show is cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's super duper Dresden, super duper Hellblazer, and that's not a bad thing.
yeah,
It's just like I was talking about last week. I'm pretty sure, or
hmm,
maybe I was talking about it when we did our D&D game. Because for people who don't know, our D&D game is urban fantasy. So
yeah,
you know, the two seminal, like the seminal pieces of urban fantasy, there's maybe five that people are super rip off on accident or on purpose. But for me, it's like Dresden, Hellblazer, Hellboy, are like
hmm,
the big ones for me. You know,
yeah,
so it's like everything that I read like okay, though this is a Dresden reference. This is clearly John Constantine. This is clearly a Hellboy type thing. Like if I see an organization, that's Hellboy. That's BPRD.
yeah,
If I see a smoky, mad wizard, sorcerer, exorcist, that's John Constantine. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like it's unintentional, but sometimes, most of the time, I would say it's just a, you know, you can't get rid of that homage. You
yeah.
know, because they're so powerful.
And with a lot of those, they're like so embedded into the culture that like, or embedded into that genre that it'd be kind of like hard to do a story in that
Yeah,
without having like some sort of like character or reference or something like that to those because
I
they're
mean, dude,
just such like integral to like what
yeah,
a kind of story like that
the last
is.
time I saw the genre shift into allow new archetypes or new was Supernatural. Because
Hmm.
most urban fantasy, like there's the two sides of urban fantasy or three sides of urban fantasy. There's the male led side, there's the female led
Hmm.
side, and there's like the romance, which are usually female led, right?
Yeah.
But like for like the male led side, Dresden, Iron Druid Chronicles, Simon R. Green stuff like Nightside, Rivers of London, all these type of series that are super urban fantasy. I just look at them and go, this is just Dresden, because they're all
Hmm.
wizards, which ends
Yeah.
up becoming Dresden. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's Mike Carey has a series of books called Felix Castor, right? He's
Hmm.
an exorcist in London. Okay, well that's John Constantine, but also Mike
Yeah.
Carey also wrote Hellblazer and he also wrote Lucifer for DC. So it's kind of like okay,
Okay.
well we got what you're doing. They're
Yeah.
different characters enough, but you know what they're pulling from, right? But eventually, like if I'm writing an urban fantasy book, which I have been, or on and off, and there's a regular human who drives around and hunts stuff, well,
That's
that's
supernatural.
supernatural. You know what I mean? So that's the last thing that became like a tent pole in the genre for people to unintentionally copy
Mm-hmm.
without even trying, because people are gonna. If you write a story now about your hunter, male or female or not whatever, and they're driving in their whatever car, if it happens to be if it happens to be from the '70s already, people are like, okay, rip off. But they listen to any sort of classic rock, supernatural.
Yeah.
So your character has to drive a Prius or listen to hip hop, or Madonna, to
There you go.
and not wear what they
Take down
wear.
a vampire or listen to Like a Virgin. There
Yeah,
you go.
has to like dress like Luther from Luther and listen to David Bowie while they kill monsters to be different enough.
Honestly, that would be a pretty dope
Yeah,
character.
it's just Idris Elba. It's just Luther.
Yeah, you're just Idris Elba, but he fights
In the new
werewolves.
movie that comes out, the new Luther movie, we find out he's actually been killing.
They're making a movie?
Yeah, they're making a movie. When that comes out, we
Okay.
actually find out that he's been killing monsters the whole time. You know. But
You find out actually he's just been talking to John Constantine and he's just taking
yep,
over
taking over
Constantine.
London.
Yeah.
Well, what else have you been checking out?
So I was checking out that. Also, I did like the little tease to like season 2.
Yeah.
If it gets greenlit, that's kind of. It's nice that they're at least thinking about that. I mean, I feel like most shows this day are thinking about it, but it's nice to know that like they are actively thinking about trying to continue that on. So with that, one of the other things that I watched was SSS.Dynazenon ended its season today. Last of the 12 episodes. It's such a good series, dude. It's so fun.
This is the Gridman sequel?
This is the sequel to the. It's not like a direct sequel. It's like the in-universe sequel to Gridman.
Okay.
I love it a lot. It's super dope. The one of the characters from Gridman does show up for like the back half of the season, so there is like that direct connection to the series that came before it.
Okay.
Gridman doesn't show up, but like one of the other guys, Grid Knight, shows up, and like he is like a major part of the plot for like the back half of the show.
And I would like this show.
You don't like this show?
I would like this show, right?
Well, because I think we've talked about this before, and you're more of like an actual like henshin guy.
Yeah.
And this show isn't as much about henshins as it is about like basically, especially like Dynazenon is like Zords fighting kaiju. Which for me, I fucking love, because I love kaiju and I love Megazords. Like Dynazenon is basically a Megazord,
right?
Because it's all the different parts. Like there's like a boat part, there's a car part, there's the dragon that's like the base, and then there's like wings. So that's like it's a Megazord.
Well, I would like that because I like Getter Robo. I like super robot mech anime, like Getter Robo and shit like that. I can't even remember my other. I was gonna say another example of super robot, but I can't remember right now. Fucking Getter Robo, fucking. God.
Well, there is the original Gridman show, which this is, because I know from reading Reddit, that's like the whole basis for this Dynazenon series is based on an episode from old Gridman that was about like a mummy that like got reincarnated or some shit, and there was like some dragon thing, and then the guys that Trigger were like, that's what we're gonna make a series about. We're gonna make it about this mummy, and I'm like, okay, I dig it, and but yeah, it's super good. I like the aspect a lot to it too, because this whole thing, the whole show is based around like, because the main guy, the mummy character, is like somebody who gets like revived after like 5,000 years, and the main antagonists are like his former comrades when he was alive 5,000 years ago, and they're all they're called kaiju eugenicists, so they're all like big into kaijus and stuff like that, and they can like take them over, and they're all about like using kaijus to like destroy the world and whatnot. And so you get Dynazenon like trying to fight against it, but it's all about figuring out like specifically for like the main characters, because at the beginning they're all like disjointed, and it's all about them like trying to like grow together as a team and like form bonds with each other and like kind of grow from that. And that's like a storyline that I always like to see. So
can I ask you real quick?
Yeah.
Is the mecha CG or drawn?
It's half and half.
Okay.
For a lot of the fight scenes, it's definitely CG. But there's definitely like the transformation sequences are all hand drawn. I can tell that right away.
Right.
And there's some good transformations. Like, hold on. So these are my two favorites, which is, let me look them up right now. Which is today they did. Oh, hold on. I I have one already saved, so hold on. Let me open the chat. Okay. So this is the one that was revealed today, and I love the way that this one looks. And then let me find the other one that's like the OG, or not the OG, like the Ultra Transfer. Hold on. What the fuck is it called? It's super complicated. I think it's Super Kaiser Grid Knight. Is it Super Kaiser Grid Knight? Super Kaiser King Dragon Grid Knight. That sounds right. What does it look like? I want the good shit with the cape. Hold on. Oh, there we go. That's a good pick of it. So the first one I sent you is Grid Knight, and then there's also like a new monster that was introduced that was like basically like in Power Rangers where they have like the mini Zords that can basically add on. That's basically like what got introduced, where there was like a mini kaiju that like this girl ended up like fostering and creating, and so he ended up like being able to be like basically like a mini Zord for the Grid Knight team. And then this is the Super Ultra transformation, which looks dope, which is like Dynazenon with the Grid Knight, and then Goldburn, which is like the mini Zord, like all together. And its name is super complicated because outside of like the base like Grid Knight and Dynazenon, once the combination started happening, I'm like, I don't even know. There's like 10 different words that are being said. I don't even know why half of them are there, but it looks so cool.
How many episodes is it?
It's only 12.
Okay. I could watch 12.
So it's not that long at all, and I really liked it a lot. Super fun series. And they did announce today that the third season will be the actual like sequel with Gridman and Dynazenon together. So that'll be really cool. I'm excited to see that as well. I'm not sure when it's coming out. Probably in like, because I think the original Gridman came out in like 2018 or 2019, and this one came out. So I'm pretty sure we won't get a sequel till like 2023 or something like that. But it's a super fun series. So that finished. And the last thing that I watched before I get to what I played, because I did play one thing and beat it, which was nice. But I watched today the first Ruroni Kenshin live action movie.
Yeah.
Because the last one I didn't realize, but somebody in my Facebook group told me that the last one that was just released is on Netflix today. And I saw that and I was like, I want to watch that. But I don't know anything about Ruroni Kenshin, and I haven't watched any of the movies. Yeah. So let me watch the old movies. So I watched the first one today. Just a good action movie.
Yeah.
Fun movie. I like it a lot.
Well, real quick, I want to piggyback off that for a second. Just because the first thing I watched this week was the final Ruroni Kenshin movie.
Okay.
So I watched it because I knew it was coming out, and I have been prepared for the last 7 years for them to just make another one.
Has it been that long since the third one?
Yeah, I think 2014, I believe.
Wow.
2014 or 2016, one of the two. But I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously. But I will say there's also one more left.
Even though this last movie was called The Final?
Yeah, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? There's the first movie, which I think it's just called Kenshin.
I think it's called I think it's movie-wise, I think it's just called Ruroni Kenshin, but I think when I looked up on the Google, they like added the subtitle of like the beginning or something like that.
Okay, because it's Kenshin, it's like Kyoto Inferno, the Legend Ends or something, and this one's called The Final. Well, apparently while they were filming, because this movie's been done for like 2 years.
Oh, right? Has it?
Yeah, and they were going to release it last year, but COVID, so they pushed it back.
Right.
But I believe while they were filming it, they were also filming The Beginning, which is him. It's like Samurai X, which is like him becoming Batosai.
Okay.
So this is the final.
Well, that's weird. Then you watch this one, and like the whole intro bit is about him being Batosai, which I mean, I guess that is also like the ending of him being Batosai and like him taking up the vow to like not kill anymore.
Yeah.
But also the intro action sequence is fucking great.
Well, so I'll say this too. I came into these movies. I recommended that you watch the movies a while back, if you remember, because to me they're just. I have no context for Kenshin, right? I've never read it. I never watched it. I watched like one movie in the anime club, but I don't know what the fuck was going on. But I like samurai movies. I like
Yeah.
Chambara movies. I like Japanese movies and whatever. So I watched. I think when I watched them, the first two. No, I think just the first one was out. I think I watched them every time they came out.
So you started watching him in 2012 because that wasn't the first one.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Um, and just not even like keeping up to date, just like kind of seeing them online, being like, "Oh, it's out now. Okay, let me say. Okay, cool." And I watched the
Yeah.
first one on a whim. Like, okay, I'm bored.
Hmm.
I'll watch it. And I was so impressed with how the lead actor put the fucking work in to learn how to use
Dude.
a fucking sword.
Yeah. Using a reverse sword and like being able to do like this shit that he does and like, yeah. And I think one of the things outside of like you recommending it, one of the things that have also been making me interested to watch it is that the corridor guys,
Mm-hmm.
corridor guys, they do their stuntman reviews and they showed one of the fight scenes. I don't remember which one it was from. I know it's not the first one, but they showed one of the fight scenes from one of the Kenshin movies, and I was like, damn, that looks slick.
Yeah.
And then you figured out that like, yeah, it's like the main guy who does it, and like he does it all. Like he doesn't really have like a stunt double. And I'm like, damn, that's impressive as hell.
Yeah, and the first movie itself, it's really good. I mean, I think they actually kind of like, if my memory is correct, I think to me it goes 2, 1, 3 in quality. And now that I've seen four, I would say 2, 1, 3, 4.
The two's the best
I
one.
think from my memory, I think two's the best one, and I think four is the worst one. And it's
Wow.
not
Okay.
because it's it's not a bad movie. The final, it's just that I didn't need it. And
Ah.
I can't compare to the manga because I don't know it, so I can't because two could be completely fucking trash compared to the source material. I don't know, you know. But I remember having a good time watching two, but having watched four this morning, I
Mm-hmm.
remember being like, I did not need this movie at all. I didn't, and
Right.
I know that apparently this is the adaptation to the final arc of the manga, so it is the ending of the series. I understand that, but I left it being like, ah, Kenshin's story was finished already.
Mm.
I don't need this whole extra bit. So that's how I felt at least.
Okay. Interesting. But yeah, I'm excited to dig into more of it. I mean, like, yeah, this the choreography and the fight scenes is great. I mean, the movie looks fantastic outside of like the choreography. Like sets look fantastic. I like the way all the characters look. Um, the plot is fine.
Hmm.
It's nothing like too groundbreaking or anything like
No,
that.
all the movies are like, who's the bad guy? Someone that Batosai wronged. Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Who are you? The Batosai killed my girlfriend. Okay.
I think that's the one that, at least in this movie, that's the part that is like, especially the other movies are like that. The first one is probably like the weakest in that aspect because it's like you've got like the drug dealer guy, obviously, which is like obviously a bad guy, and it's like the capitalism thing, and that I can tell that that's going to be like a big thing. Is like the moving forward of like the new era in Japan and like the westernizing of everything and like his old ideals like clashing with like this new westernized Japan that's coming about. So that's a whole part of it too. But like then you've got like the main outside of like the drug dealer guy, you've got like the main antagonist, which is like
Hmm.
the kill sword that is using his name of Batosai
Yeah.
to go around killing people. But outside of him using the name Batosai, there's not really a connection. At least if there is, like I didn't feel like it was established very well in the movie. Like they have their final confrontation, and like he's like, yeah, the whole thing is just like I killed people as a samurai, you killed people as a samurai. I'm gonna make you kill people again, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like, it's not exactly like the most compelling thing. I mean, the more compelling part about it for sure is like Kenshin's whole thing, and I think this movie did that really well a lot, which is like I'm sure the manga does this too, but I haven't read it either. But it's really like testing the boundaries of like his oath to not kill again
Hmm.
and like how far he's willing to like take that to actually like. And I think this movie does really good as well as like trying to figure out if like because for him as a character, it feels like he goes from like one extreme to the other, which is like as Batosai, he literally like just kills everybody that is like standing in front of
Yeah.
him, to going to a vow of like I will never kill anybody again, to the fact that I had a sword especially made for me so that I will not kill anybody. And so it's like that mindset of like going from one extreme to the other, and like seeing the after effects of like his decision not to kill, and how in some cases that actually ends up costing more lives than if he had just taken out the bad guy in the first
Yeah.
place. So I like that like push and pull that they seem to have with like his ideology, and like is what he's doing actually the right thing, or should he actually try to like amend his ideals for like the situation as it calls for it. So
Movie 4 is all about that.
all about
It's all
that. Yeah.
about his
Okay.
reasoning and all about his past. And like even with the character itself, watching all the movies, I enjoy the character. But I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
like, just kill him. You,
Just kill
why
him.
would you make a sword where it's still sharp somewhere? If you don't want
Yeah.
to kill anyone,
That's the other thing where it's like if you're gonna go about this thing where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have a reverse blade so I won't kill anybody. And I was like, well, why don't you just carry around
a dull
like
sword.
handle with a rod attached to it? Like, why do you need to have like a blade
Well,
at
keep the
all on
blade,
it?
but just make the whole thing dull. Why did you go
Yeah,
through
that's it.
making the inside part sharp? Why would you do that? So
Yeah,
eventually
it doesn't make a lot of
so you can
sense.
still kill someone. Like what are you talking? You can kill people with, dude. Those some of the hits he does in the movie. I'm like, dude, that dude's dead. That
Yeah.
dude's dead. You talking about? I mean, a fucking piece of steel smashing this dude's skull. He's dead. He's dead. Um, yeah. But so what else did you? You said you played something.
So last thing I did was that I beat Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, okay, cool.
Uh, it's fun. Um, it's weird, especially like getting into the later half, how much it feels like, and I mean it is, but it's weird how much it keeps that identity of being like a PlayStation 2 type of game. Specifically, it felt like in the boss encounters, where it really felt like a PS2 style game, where you're like, as a third person shooter, you're basically going around, and it feels like I don't know. It's always weird for me, like bosses in shooter games, because you always have the aspect of like, I have a gun. Why are you not instantly dead?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how big your robot is. I have a gun that like turns you into 3D pixels. Like, I don't understand how you're not just like immediately dead.
Right.
But outside of like the logic aspect to it, it's still a fun game. I liked it a lot. I liked the rebooted aspect to like Ratchet and Clank's story. It's all toward. I don't remember if I talked about this last week, but it's all toward through like the storytelling aspect of like Captain Quark. So I like that bit to it too, because you basically figure out through the plot that like he betrayed everybody because he was jealous of Ratchet, and so he ended up like being arrested and he's in prison. He's like telling the whole story of like how he ended up in prison essentially. Um, but yeah, it was a fun game. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't have a PS5, so I'm definitely not playing Rift Apart anytime soon. But I feel like I'd probably play that, when I eventually do get a PS5. I feel like I'd definitely play that game because, yeah, Ratchet is super fun. And even though it does feel like, it really feels like a holdover from that like PS2 era of game design. It's still a game design that I find incredibly fun. So,
Yeah. Cool. What
Jason, what have you been checking out?
I'm not too terribly much this week.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I don't know what I've been fucking doing, watching sports or something. The first thing I did was a Netflix show, Korean drama, of course. It
Okay.
dropped, I think, Monday. It's called Beyond Evil. It's a
Mm.
crime mystery show about a. The basic premise is that it's in 2000, a boy and his twin sister are like kind of the opposites of each other. He's a kind of like a
Okay.
slacker, and they're like I think they're young. They're like 20ish, 20 years old, and they're both slackers. And they live in the snow, kind of the outskirts of this Korean city. So it's kind of like a smaller town. So everyone knows
Hmm.
everybody, and the sister's like the twin sister's like the successful one. She's in college and going whatever. Well, she gets found. She goes missing, and
Hmm.
the only thing they can find of her are her 10 fingertips, right? And
What the
they
fuck?
suspect that it's the brother who did it. So they take him to jail or take him to court and they interrogate him and all kind of stuff. And the whole town thinks he killed his sister, right? And flash forward to like 20 years, he's a detective now. He's a
Hmm.
detective now, and he used to work for like the specialized task unit, but he got
Okay.
demoted back to his small town. So he's kind of just like fucking, you know, he's like kind of like over.
Oh, like you moved away to be a detective in a different
Yeah.
city?
Well,
Okay.
so what I understand now, because I don't know much about Korea, is that there's
Hmm.
one national police agency, right?
Huh.
So they're
Okay.
all part of the same division or same umbrella.
Huh.
So he worked for a thing called like the Regional Investigative Team or something. So he was off doing
Hmm.
like higher end investigations. He's a good detective. But some
Where his reputation and past didn't follow him, I assume.
yeah, exactly. But then some crazy shit happened and he got demoted back to a small town. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're back again," whatever, right? But then this like hot shot young buck, classic anime
Classic.
trope, shows up in town. Hot shot detective shows up in the town, and we don't know why he's there. But within the first day of him being there, they find another victim that matches the previous cases. Because there's actually like so his sister goes missing, but there's also like 5 or 6 other people who go missing who fit the
Okay.
same MO, and they're like, "Oh no, he's back again," and they're like, "Oh, it has to be this guy. It has to be the main character." And for like the
Mm.
first 8 episodes, because they're hour longs, dude, they string you the fuck along. They're like, "Yeah, did he do it or did he not do it?" And they slow burn it.
Huh.
But like
Okay.
so it's eventually you learn that the new detective is there to investigate him to like bring him down, right? Like
Huh.
he thinks that he killed his sister, he killed all these other people, and the whole time for the first half of the show, it's them kind of like battling each other while they're partners.
Hmm.
And the main
It
character,
gives me like Death Note vibes.
well, the main and here's the Death Note part two. The main
Mm.
character, like the older detective, is just that much smarter. He just like he's
Ah.
just playing this young kid along the whole time, and like you're watching
Yeah.
it and you're getting confused. I was seeing reviews of it online while it was happening, like on Reddit. People like from like previous whatever. People were
Hmm.
watching it on sub, and were like, "What's going on? I'm so confused." It's because the fucking writers are showing you bits here, bits there, and it all comes together later. And
Okay.
it's so impressive. It is so impressive. I'm not even done yet. It's so impressive. Just the first 10 episodes.
Okay.
I'm like, holy shit. This is impressive stuff. And there's a big twist. Like a big, I would say, like, the only thing I can compare it to in terms of, like, thematic or writing ability or whatever depth is like that first
Hmm.
season of True Detective. But
Fuck, dude, that's
but
pretty
it's
high
not.
praise.
But it's all Korean, right? So like the way that we perceive crime dramas in America, we have our own
Hmm.
versions of it. Like this show is a K drama, so it still has those like bumpers that I showed you, like the intro and outro bumper.
Yeah.
It still has that, but from point A to point B in the show, like it's not gonna have the budget that fucking True Detective has, right? And you don't
Right.
know the actors, but in terms of like it flashes back between the past and the future, and you're trying to find out who in this town is the serial killer because it's a small town
Right.
and it's this big
And it's
fucking
got to be somebody in the town.
yeah. There's a scene where I'm not gonna spoil it for you, where the young detective is like, "Who are you?" Because the whole time he starts like for episode 2 on, he's like, "I know you fucking did it. I'm gonna fucking catch you." And then the main character is like, just smiles at him, creepy smile. I was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do it. Prove to me."
All right.
And then there's a scene where he's like, "Okay, who are you covering for?" And he goes, "Well, I'm covering for this person." Right? And then the guy's like, "I knew it." He goes, "And this person, and this person, and this person, and this person, and this person." He's like, "Who did it?" And he's like, "Who can you believe? Who am I covering
Yeah.
for?" So it's like those first 10 episodes, there's a big twisty like thing reveal,
Mm-hmm.
like episode 8 or 9, and it was like, oh, that's like some like this is gonna get copied in America. This is gonna get yoinked so fast and get janked, and because it was so good. It's so good, and I think that you would
Okay.
really dig it, even if you only watched up until episode 10. Because
I mean, I feel like at that point, if I got to episode 10, I'm gonna finish it.
there's only
So
16 episodes too, but
yeah.
there's a mystery that gets solved by episode 10, and then there's a second mystery that they're working on that's still part of the first thing. So by episode,
Is the first mystery if his sister's still alive?
so the whole time, because they never find. There's like two particular people that are still missing. There's no bodies. They don't find
Right.
anyone's bodies. There's no bodies left, just fingertips. Right.
All the people who have gone missing, it's only their
Yeah,
fingertips.
but they did find like two bodies with their fingertips missing, but they found the bodies. So there's the two girls that they have found, but there's other people they haven't found, and there's like this big. So they start with a small egg of a mystery, and they just keep fucking adding layer and
Just
layer
laying
and
shit on
layer,
top.
and like so far, I was really worried that it was gonna be real like they weren't gonna be able to handle it. But
Mm-hmm.
the first mystery that they kind of wrap up, I'm like, they did that extremely well. They handled it
Okay.
extremely well, and it was super duper heavy and depressing and dark, and you felt like really good that at the end of that particular mystery. Like you're like, okay, this was solved efficiently. Unlike True Detective, which doesn't give you an answer.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the most like disappointing. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. Like True Detective gives you an answer. I just think it's a very for me watching it, it was a very unsatisfactory answer.
Yeah.
Like you know who did it? Like the Yellow King, like the guy they find is the one that did it. I just find the fact that he did it not very satisfying, especially when you've got all this other shit that happens. Like I feel like the episode before that is the one where they show like the fucking ritualistic cult shit.
Yeah.
You got that, and then it's like, no, it's just this fucking dumpy Louisiana guy that like killed these women.
Well, and like so, and the one big correlations I found was because like there's the scene, the crime scenes, right, in True Detective. Well, it's like
Right, that's the most
in
iconic
this
thing.
show,
Yeah.
there's the crime scenes where it's definitely not as like, it's not Seven. This is on TV.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's like there is definitely creepy enough crime scenes. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing to me, the big thing that it plays a part of it, besides being a cat and mouse game between the two detectives, and then also
Mm-hmm.
the killer, whoever it is that there are so many cops from the main city hub who just don't trust the main character because they all know who he
Huh.
is, right? Like there's layers to it, like where like the main character's current boss was the guy who brought him in for killing his sister, right?
Huh.
So there's so many like there's interpersonal layers, and you see the other characters in the town who he's friends with, who some of them have family members who are missing, all this kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And the character, he seems like he's psychotic. Like
The main
he
character.
seems super like disassociative and like this separated from reality. And they eventually piece all that stuff together so you can see what he is doing or why he thinks this way or why he's acting this way. And it's almost like
Okay.
you build this character piece by piece to he's already built fully, but we're showing you how he became this character while also showing you him progress at the same time, like in the same episode.
Oh,
It's super well written.
interesting.
But it's called Beyond Evil. It's finished. It all dropped on Netflix on Monday, I believe. It's
Mm-hmm.
really good. I binge watched 7 episodes in one day. It was
Damn.
awesome. It's awesome. I'm looking forward to finishing it.
Okay.
So I watched Kenshin, like I said, but the last thing I did this week was a mix hybrid.
Okay.
I started watching this anime on Netflix. It came out this week. It's it's
Ragnarok.
called Record of Ragnarok.
I wanted to start that. I haven't. I haven't started it yet.
Okay,
Um.
I watched the first 5 episodes.
Okay.
fucking sucks. It's
The
fucking
anime,
terrible.
like,
It's terrible.
wow.
The quality of the animation is terrible. There was no real fighting until episode like 3. It
Oh,
sucked. The animation is atrocious. It is fucking terrible. It's bad. So I went to
wow.
the Reddit, and everyone
That's disappointing.
thinks the same thing. Like people who read the manga on Reddit are like, this is fucking terrible, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, this is sad because the
I've seen the drawings from the manga and it looks fucking killer.
right,
So that's
and the
disappointing.
manga people are like, this it's depressing because the manga is so well made. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go read the manga. So I
Yeah.
stopped watching the anime episode 5, went to the manga, and I'm caught up. It's only 48 chapters out, and
Yeah.
it's fucking awesome. It's
Yeah.
great. The manga is fantastic. The art is killer. The Some of the fights I don't care about, but in general, I'm super impressed with it. It's super fun. It's super
Hmm.
creative, and the anime blows. At least from what I saw. And there's no way there's a fight between. I'm not gonna spoil who wins. There's a fight between Hercules and Jack the Ripper.
Hmm.
That first off, that alone,
It's good
like the
stuff.
idea that like Jack the Ripper is the good guy.
Yeah. In that scenario, Jack Ripper's the good
But
guy.
the fight is so well done in the manga that I just know that there's no way it could have
Yeah.
been. It's gonna be done well if it in the anime. There's just no way.
I think the anime only takes up, from what I've seen from the trailers and everything, it looks like it only takes up to
Poseidon, I think.
uh, Poseidon,
Yeah.
which I've read a little bit of that fight because I know on YouTube, because I've seen a little bit. I didn't finish it, but there are like, I don't know if they're like motion comics or if they're just like compilations of like the pages from Ragnarok, but like I've watched like some from the Poseidon fight and some from the Jack the Ripper fight too.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like, and even in those battles, like Jack the Ripper versus Hercules, I like that he's able to like, it's like he's mixing like traditional like fucking meathead battles with like actual like non-battle
Yeah.
battles. Especially with like Jack the Ripper, where it's like you've got Hercules who's like fucking unga bunga meathead man, and then you've got Jack the Ripper who's like a scrawny little bitch, and he has to figure out how to like outsmart and like outwit Hercules, who can basically just like shrug everything off because he's a fucking god.
Yeah.
So
I enjoy that fight a lot, and the current fight is it's Buddha versus
oh,
who is he fighting? I can't remember who he's fighting, but
I know that somebody said, I don't know if that's Buddha, but I know I was reading a little bit on the Reddit because I somebody wasn't complaining about the animation, they were complaining about the actual like concept of the story in and of itself. And I was reading that his whole thing, and I was like, yeah, but like it's a fucking fantasy anime. Like what he was like talking about how like it's so unrealistic that the Valkyries would stage this uh whatever he called it against like the gods because they report to Odin. And I was like, yeah, but like the Valkyries are dope and like it's a fantasy like story. Like I don't know what you want. Like it's not trying to be
well,
realistic.
yeah.
Like it's a like fucking tournament anime for like the end of the world. Like it's not realistic. Like
Um,
the author's allowed to take liberties with stuff that's going on. Plus, there's like a mix of so much shit in the story. It's not like it's one specific mythology. So I feel like you can like kind of bend the rules a little bit.
yeah. I want to spoil something real fast for you. Um,
The one I don't know if it's a spoiler, but the one I do want to see because I've heard so much about it and I haven't seen anything from it yet. But I've heard, especially because it's been a couple of months since I read it, but it was like around the time I don't remember, but it was on the Reddit for a Record of Ragnarok thing, and it's like the apparently the fight between like Zeus and Adam is like
yeah.
some of the best shit.
Yeah, that was a good
So
fight. So when I saw that Adam was in it, I was like, okay, well, they don't show God, like the Christian
yeah.
God, like,
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh. They don't show him. So I kept Googling, like, is, like, God, like, the Christian God going to show up in
They're
this?
like a Christian god,
And
yeah.
then I saw Reddit threads from, like, a few months ago. People were like, probably not, no, because it'd be a backlash. People were reacting badly to Buddha, so, why would he put in, like, Jesus and all that kind of stuff? And then I'm
Yeah.
reading the most current chapter, and literally, like, is Buddha sitting there in the ring, like, in the tournament, and then it cuts to, like, a panel called the Four Sages. It's like Buddha's one of us. The four is like Socrates and like Confucius and then Jesus. And he's just like and then they cuts to a panel of them like talking, like where it's like Confucius is saying something, and then Socrates is like, yep, and then it goes to
So is Jesus on the side of man
humanity, yeah.
in
And
this?
then it cuts to a
Okay.
panel of Jesus, and he's just not saying anything. He's just like nodding. So the
Yes. Yeah.
manga is not he's not giving him dialogue. He's just
Yeah.
quiet. He's just there.
He's just saying yes, Jesus is here.
Yeah. And that's how I read a thread for the chapter because the chapter came out recently, and people were like, "I'm kind of bummed out that Jesus looked kind of like he looked like normal."
Have you seen a picture of Jesus? He looks like
because
normal.
Buddha looks different, like they make the characters look
Oh.
different, like they give them clothes and like kind of like a gimmick. Like, why does Jesus just look like regular Jesus? You know. But with that being said, it's such a stupid concept for a manga that it's so basic, and like you don't have there is
It's just a tournament arc,
it's just
baby.
tournaments, and they explain the characters' backstories a little bit here and there, and then they fight, and then someone dies, and then they move on.
Yeah.
And that's all I need.
Never to be seen or heard from
That's
again.
all I need. Because they're already dead. So who cares?
Yeah, they're dead.
They're already dead already.
They're dead or they won. And if they won,
Well, I'm saying like, they're
need...
already dead. Like, so the characters they're being pulled from history. You know what I mean? So like.
Oh yeah, that
they're already dead. So it's not like they're dying. Like, oh no, I can't believe they're dead. They're already dead.
Yeah.
But the
they're just being pulled from history.
I can't remember who the fuck is Buddha fighting. Dang it, dude.
I don't know. I know, you got Thor versus Lubu, Zeus versus Adam, and then Poseidon versus
Samurai guy.
Sanjiro. Kojiro?
Kojiro.
I think it's like Sangro Kojiro.
Yeah, it's Kojiro. And then it's Shiva versus fucking sumo guy. Or Jack the Ripper. Then Jack the Ripper versus Hercules.
Jack the Ripper.
Then
Hercules,
it's sumo guy versus Shiva. And then now it's Buddha versus fucking
some.
Oh,
is it Shakespeare?
He's fighting a Japanese. He's fighting the gods, like the 7 gods of luck or something.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Interesting. So Buddha's on the side of man.
Yeah, because Buddha was a man.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
Jesus is God and man, whereas Buddha was a human being who ascended to deity level or whatever.
But he's still on the side of man, even though he ascended.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's that, but I mean, I don't know where it's only you have to win 7 fights.
Right, and I think from what I've read, because I'm pretty sure Thor wins.
It's 2 and 3.
I know Zeus won. So it's 2 to 3.
Yeah, humans 2, gods at 3.
So there's really not that many fights.
So then,
I guess you could just stretch it out as far as you wanted to.
But then I know Buddha's gonna win this, so it's gonna be 3-3.
Okay. So then you've got. What's the potential for that? That's 6. Another 7 fights? I think is how the math works out. If you went all the way down to like 6-6, it would be 7 fights.
Or is it? You think it's gonna be like
7 fights to decide like the overall winner?
They're gonna get towards the end of the tournament, and like whoever's gonna win. But then
you're gonna have that fucking Naruto fucking Orochimaru invading where somebody's gonna fucking do some dumbass shit to wreck the whole tournament, and it's gonna like completely change the story.
Or to me, like there's a big bad guy that the gods put away that they need help from humans to beat, so they have to reunite together.
Dude, if fucking Hades shows up or some other like it's got to be like an underworld god. Like that's got to be if it's you're gonna do something like that.
They haven't
like Kronos. Or something like that?
Well, Kronos is dead.
Oh,
because Zeus is there.
Right.
But Odin's there, he hasn't fought yet.
Okay.
And Loki's there. And Ares is there. Hermes is there.
Okay.
And then there's the list of all the humans.
I know Aphrodite's there because she's got the big old boobs.
But I was looking at the list of all the humans that are going to be in the tournament, and the one that gets me the most excited is fucking Tesla.
That's pretty dope.
That's just cool.
He's gonna be doing some weird like electrical power bullshit. I'm gonna love it. I hope he shows up with like a fucking mech suit.
I saw one comment because I'm reading on this website because I'm not reading it legally. But it's attached to Facebook so people can comment on Facebook so like you scroll down to the end of the chapters and there's a bunch of Facebook comments.
I had that with that when I was reading 20th Century Boys. It was a similar thing.
Right, and so some of them are they're all some of them recent, some of them old, but up to recent, people are still commenting. And one guy, every chapter, this one guy would fucking bitch and complain. I'm like, dude, I don't even fucking know you, but you're fucking up my reading. For
Yeah.
literally like, for me it was one day,
Hmm.
but for people who are reading this as it comes out, I can't imagine how fucking annoying it'd be. Like the same fucking dude every fucking month.
Always complaining about some fucking shit,
Literally, this
dude.
guy was like, he commented recently on like a couple chapters prior, so like 2 months, 3 months ago, was like, the author really messed up. He should have done some more research and maybe got somebody like Daniel Boone.
That's the type of shit. That's like the Reddit comment where I was talking about. He was like, the author didn't research enough about the mythology and like blah blah blah, and this is the reason that his plot wouldn't work. And I'm like, nobody's saying that his plot
Yeah.
is realistic.
Or they're like, they completely changed Kojiro's care. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Who fucking? It's a fucking
You know,
story.
who said that? That means he's a fucking Fate fan. Because I know that shit. Because that's the only reason I know the name Kojiro is because he's in fucking Fate.
Listen, dude, it's a story about fucking gods fighting overpowered humans.
Yeah.
Calm the fuck. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Because for literally the only way that this manga would make me go, oh come on, is if like, okay, it's human. The gods have won 6 fights. Here's the last fight coming up. The gods choose fucking Odin. Who did the humans choose? Goku. All right, Goku, go fight Odin.
All right, Goku, get
That's
out
the only
there.
way that I would be like, this is jump to shark.
All right, Luffy, get on out
Yeah,
there.
you know what I mean? Like at this point, who fucking cares? Ugh, ridiculous, dude. People complain about that's stupid. That's such a stupid thing to
Yeah.
complain about. It's the most goofy, not serious manga.
Yeah.
There's like no like even the idea about humans are gonna die and like if they lose all these fight, no one cares. Doesn't even matter. After every fight, they go back to the little computer room and they
Hmm.
pick the person that's gonna fight. That's it.
Yeah.
And they have an entrance and there's a fucking whole entrance thing going on, and then they come out there and they do a little battle, and then someone dies. So that's all that I've
There you
I've done
go.
this week, really.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
Jace,
man.
now that we finish what we've done this week, I have a question that I wanted to posit to you
Sure.
because we don't have a main topic this week, but I have had a question that's been like sinking in the back of my mind, which is something that E3 just
Yeah.
happened, and we talked about it on and off over the past couple of days as each new presentation happened and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think the number one thing that I saw and that posits this question for me to you is, are character action games back? Because it feels like for the longest time, I really don't remember them existing or being that popular outside of like Devil May Cry. But like the last Devil May Cry game was like outside of like DMC5, like a couple years ago, was like Devil May Cry 4, and that was like early 2010s.
Well, there's
I'm pretty sure.
DMC.
Yeah, but nobody liked that game.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but people liked it, but it became a cult favorite after it came out.
Yes, it became after it mattered, then people started to like
I
it.
mean, I think that like they had games like Bayonetta that were kind of like the last kind of
Yeah,
remnants of that, but I feel like
but I feel like now it's sort of back because we had Solstice, we've got the new Final Fantasy game, we've got
I
what were the
think it's
other
because
ones?
it's easy.
Uh, I don't know. I feel like to get like an action character game like right that's enjoyable. I mean DMC. I mean I guess you can just copy DMC, but like I feel like that's like the gold standard as far as like character action games is like Devil May Cry. So I mean, I guess it's easy if you can just say like, yeah, we're just gonna copy
Which
DMC.
those games look like they did.
Some of them definitely do,
Those
yeah,
games look like they did, but then once you add in air combos, I'm like, okay, it's Devil May Cry.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I think they were not existent on the last generation of consoles.
Not
So to
really,
me,
yeah.
like,
Outside of DMC5, like
yeah,
there really wasn't any.
and maybe they're there, but they're just all in Japan. But I feel like
Maybe.
I think they're easier to make, which is why they're coming out. I feel like I would assume that they're cheaper to make because you don't have to worry about creating this massive RPG system. Just have cool animations and cool weapons, and sink most of your money in the animation and in the cutscenes, and then
Mm-hmm.
make the hits feel like they matter, and then just
Yeah.
create a combo system, which to me I would assume is infinitely easier than trying to make a system that builds experience and all kind of make this massively world map. It's a hallway with rooms, and you
Yeah.
fight in the rooms. I would assume are what these games are going to be like. Whether or not they're massive rooms or not, I don't know. But I would assume because
Yeah.
budgetary reasons, and you can kind of push the graphic because it's the you can push your experience points over to the graphics and stuff to make them look really good because you don't have to worry about building all this other stuff to worry about like dialogue trees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think the one of the things that I mean, even DMC5 has to kind of push back against that a little bit is that I feel like a lot of them are adding those kind of like, I mean, it's not like a full fledged thing, but I feel like a lot of them have been adding like those RPG elements. So I feel like a lot of them are still like adding those systems on top of like what a character action game is. So there's like getting that mix and match. So as far as like them being cheaper to make, I mean maybe they are than like a traditional like JRPG or something like that. But if they're still adding those systems, like they still have to create like those level up systems and those skill trees and like balancing out the different skills and like what skills are you going to have and what are they going to do and like how much does it cost to like unlock them and to make sure that like uh, the more powerful ones are actually like locked behind a progression that like makes sense for like where you are gameplay wise in the story and whatnot.
But
So uh,
even upgrading a weapon is easier because the weapon looks the same. You don't have to you don't have to
yeah,
build or 3D model or render 200 weapons of 200 sets of stats with and place them at 300 locations and randomize who drops what. You the
mm,
monsters drop orbs or coins, and then you have a predetermined of how many orbs they set based on maybe how much damage you do and whatever the combo is if it's something like that, and then you just move on. So I feel like I would assume it'd be cheaper to make them
yeah,
like Biomutant or Cyberpunk. I mean, like these games that have massive fucking times. So for me, it's
yeah,
like, okay, well, you have a new console that is power machine. Well, let's
yeah,
fucking put all our eggs in this. People are
mm-hmm,
going to enjoy a good looking action game as long as
yeah,
the action feels good. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Like, fucking make Bayonetta on a Xbox, fucking whatever, and it's gonna sell because it's gonna look good and be fun. Like Devil
mm-hmm,
May Cry should look fucking amazing this next game. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I think that's what it is. I mean, I don't know if they're back per se, but I feel like maybe it comes in waves.
yeah. That's possible too. Um, I mean, it's not like I'm not saying they're back like they didn't exist because I mean, there's clearly some that like did exist on the PS4, but I feel like, especially this E3 in particular, I feel like each show, at least from the ones I paid attention to, which is I paid attention to like most of the big ones. I feel like each show had at least one big like character action game that they were like promoting
Yeah,
for whatever they were doing.
yeah. No, I get that. Um, where do you? This is end to your question real fast, but
Mm-hmm.
um, where do you stand currently on professional wrestling?
In what capacity?
Are you watching
I haven't
anything?
watched it in a while. If that answers your question.
Okay. Is there? Let me ask you this, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What is professional wrestling not doing to make you not watch it consistently? Like, what do you want that they're not giving you, or is there something that's missing that's not there?
I think the I don't know. It's hard because it's not like I don't think there's anything missing per se. I think the big problem for me with it is that one, there's a lot of wrestling
Mm-hmm.
out there. And I think for me, sometimes it can down to a choice, get down to a choice paralysis, where I feel like there's so much decent wrestling content out there that sometimes it's hard for me to sit down and just pick one
Yeah.
and be like, I'm gonna watch this. So I think that's part of it. Um, I think it's also like not as accessible for me as it used to be because I don't have cable. So it's really not like I can't just like turn on like TNT on like a Wednesday or whatever and just like watch AEW or like turn on USA Network and like watch Raw because I don't have those channels. So I'd have to have like some other means. And I don't know if there is another way to watch AEW outside of cable. Like they're not WWE. Like they don't have their own network or anything like that, do they?
No, you can just watch it through TNT app.
Yeah, and I bet with that you need to have like some sort of cable service
I
provider.
don't know for sure because I have one, so I don't know.
Yeah,
But if they don't, it would be ads. But I don't know for sure. I couldn't say.
yeah.
Um,
And I think that's the biggest thing for me is like one is choice paralysis, but also two is like for me specifically is like the accessibility to it.
yeah,
So
because I asked because I go through waves of watching everything, and since there is
hmm
so much shit going on,
yeah,
I have exclusively been pretty much just watching New Japan, and that's
okay.
it. And what I love about New Japan is that there isn't a weekly show. Like they,
See, I feel like that's almost easier when there's just like there's like big tentpole shows
yeah,
where stuff is
like they
happening.
have,
That's also the thing too is that it's easy to get burnt out in the weekly shows because there's really like it's nice that they have like build up to storylines, but like I felt like WWE had this problem like more than anything else, where it was like I felt like when I specifically when I was like watching WWE like all the time, I would feel like 90% of the show that I was watching didn't fucking matter.
yeah, absolutely. Well, with New Japan, they have the big shows every year that are the same, and they have a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of what's called like Road to something, like Road to Dominion, which are going to be like the smaller,
Road to G20 or what was it
the
called?
G1
It's not the G
Climax, or
G1
Road to
Climax.
Wrestle Kingdom. These shows where it's a bunch of this is where they build the card. This is where they build the story,
Right.
right? Like it's a lot of tag matches. That way everyone's working less. It might have
Mm-hmm.
like, two main event matches. But the thing I like about New Japan is because in Japan, wrestling is still perceived in like a sportsman like atmosphere. So
Mm-hmm.
no, there are barely any promos, and there are barely any like
Hmm.
there's no like, oh my god, so and so is pregnant, because there's no women in New Japan. It's all dudes, right? So
They don't have a
there's no women's
female
division,
division.
no,
Hmm.
right? And I'm not saying,
I know they have their own separate like not division, but they have their own separate like female centered like companies
oh yeah,
in
there's a
Japan.
Stardust or Star, I think it's Stardust. It's
I
all
think it's
female pro wrestling, which is great. It's a fantastic
yeah.
promotion. Um, but New Japan specifically is all dudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that because it's better. That's not what I'm saying. My point is that there's no storyline about like so and so is dating so and they kidnapped his.
There's no soap
There's no
opera
soft
shit.
ball
Yeah.
for shit. It's all sports like. It's like, hey, why do you want to beat me? Because I'm fucking better than you.
Yeah.
And then we fucking wrestle and we make a really good wrestling match and they wrestle.
Or you get the evil story one where it's like you turned your back on me and I'm not being no fucking
Yeah, it's like
second
you
fiddle.
left my faction, so fuck you, and we're gonna wrestle.
Yeah.
Even AEW, which is obviously Western professional wrestling, influenced by Japanese and Hispanic or Mexican wrestling, excuse me, Hispanic
Mm.
wrestling. Um, they dive into these storylines I don't give a shit about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how are you gonna in one show have a storyline about like something super serious like oh we're brothers, Cody Rhodes, Dustin, we're brothers. We're the sons of Dusty. And then also have
Mm-hmm.
a fucking luchador who's a dinosaur in the same show and think that I'm gonna give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
So like, and that's not saying it's bad or good. That's just not. That's just one of the things about American professional wrestling that I don't care about anymore. So I find myself being like, I'm just gonna watch Japan. I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
watch Japanese wrestling because they wrestle better. I for sure believe they wrestle better,
Mm-hmm.
which does have problems. I'll get to that in a sec. But two, you don't have to worry about fucking, you know, why is Okada wrestling evil this time? You don't. You only have to know why because one of them is champion. That's why.
Yeah. Because one of them's champion and the other one wants those
Yes,
belts.
and it's
That's
about like
why.
honor and pride and championship, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes about okay, well, here's the dickhead. So I just want because your Sue sucks, I'm gonna wrestle you. But it's never.
You're the Bullet Club, and the Bullet Club are assholes, so
Yeah, but
fuck
it's
you.
never like, oh man, I can't believe that so and so, you know, fucking ran over my car. You
You
know,
stole my
it's not. It's
girlfriend.
not.
Fuck you.
It's not like, oh my gosh, Edge and Lita. What? I can't believe it.
What?
So
Matt Hardy, I'm gonna be broken for the rest of my life. Delete,
yeah.
delete. Yeah.
But real quick before I finish up that is that
Okay.
um, it's better wrestling. To me, it's more athletic. It looks better. The moves are cooler. Pacing's better. I think in general, overall, it's a better professional wrestling product. Now,
Mm-hmm.
WWE, of their own accord, is not professional wrestling. It is sports entertainment. They're not
Right.
pro wrestlers. They're superstars.
Yeah.
Which is I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a shit about that. I want professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Um, Not saying that there's not good storylines and bits over there because there are. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and there's great wrestlers over at NXT, right? Walters being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll give you an example real quick. New
Okay.
Japan. A couple months back, Will Ospreay has been working his way up for years, right? He's a small dude. He got a little bit bigger. He's still kind of small, but he's super popular. And he got hit from being a junior, like in the weight class. They still kind of keep weight class, right? So kind of like your ceiling. And he pushed into the heavyweights. He's working all the heavyweight guys, and then he finally became the champion, right? And they just changed the belt. They just unified the belt in New Japan for the Intercontinental
Okay.
belt and the heavyweight belt, and it looks fucking shitty. But he won it. But then he had to give it up because of like a neck injury, right?
Damn.
So the
Okay.
belt it was vacant for a little bit, and they just crowned a new champion like 2 weeks ago.
I'm guessing they had some sort of tournament to figure out who would take it up or
I don't
something
even
like that.
remember what the reasoning was. I think they just picked two guys, and we're like,
You and you
well,
go
they
fight for it.
picked someone who is a backbone. They picked Okada, and they picked someone
Mm-hmm.
who they think is time to get the strap. And the
Okay.
guy who Shingo Takagi was the guy who won, and it's like his time, right? Okada's had his time. Okada's gonna get it again. It's like in professional wrestling. Whenever it's time for an interim champion, you just give the belt to who your backbone is.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Just give it to John
give it to
Cena.
John
It's fine.
Cena, give it to Triple H. You know what I mean? Build
Yeah.
up the next character, and then he'll drop
Right.
it to that character. But like, even though I don't give a shit about this guy who's a champion, I still watch everything because they're just such a better product. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like thinking like, what do they need to get you to watch? You know, what do you need besides just obviously you said that's because it's so much stuff going on that just makes you not want to watch anything. And I
Yeah.
get that for sure. So I was just curious.
Yeah, I think for me, I think especially with New Japan, I think it would just be like the accessibility of it, which I know they have their own app that you can watch stuff through. Um,
Mm,
so I would think it would probably be just like it'd also be one of those things where it's just like I have so many apps already where it's like I'm already like not wanting to like get another one, which is like
yeah,
I want to watch Loki, but like I don't want to buy the Disney Plus app because that's just like another fucking app that I have to fucking do, and I'm fucking stupid, so I won't cancel it once I'm done with Loki.
yeah,
So it's just another thing I'm paying for month after month.
yeah. I get no, I get that. I get that. There's definitely ways to watch both those things.
That's true.
Yeah. Real quick before we wrap up, last word about professional wrestling is
Okay.
that every few months there's an Instagram account that I follow
Mm-hmm.
and that you should follow too. It's called WrestleBotch, right?
All right, give it to me.
Um,
WrestleBot.
WrestleBotch. And I posted a story. I reposted one of their videos because every few months I go back to their page and I just binge watch all their videos. And it's just a bunch of botches in wrestling, whether it's botches in
Okay.
moves, botches in indie matches, botches on promos, whatever. But
Mike Slip Monday and Table Fail Tuesday.
yeah, and I posted one last night that cracks me up. It's always cracked me up, but it's a Lex Luger bit where I can't even explain it because it's so fucking funny. But the Instagram account alone is it's so hilarious. And it's
Okay.
even funnier when you're scrolling through these videos and laughing your ass off, and then you see Steve Austin comment on it, or like The Rock will comment on it, or like these other people will be like, "This is fucking funny." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I just want to say recommendation, Zach. I think you enjoy anything Lex Luger, anything fucking Sid. It's
Okay.
it's hilarious. After this is done, go to my story and just watch that. It's 5 seconds long. Just watch it and laugh.
Okay.
So, but Zach, anything else you want to say before we end the pod, man?
Uh, no, that's it. I mean, the character action thing was like the one thing I really wanted to bring up to you real quick. So other than that, not too much.
Cool.
I'm excited to dive more into Ruroni
Oh yeah.
and fucking Gundam because that all dropped. So now I've got like 3 Ruroni Kenshin movies. I got fucking 4 Gundam movies. It's gonna be a busy time. I'm sure I won't watch the Gundam movies anytime soon. Now that I've decided that I'm gonna watch Kenshin,
Well, you
but
need to because Hathaway comes out in like 2 weeks.
I know I do. Is that official? It's coming out in two
Mm-hmm.
weeks. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. All right.
I'm pretty sure it's
Gonna have to fucking just make a day.
either July 2nd or 5th. I think
Okay.
one of those. It's somewhere in that ballpark. Early, like the first week of
So I'll
July.
be in Charleston then. I'm sure I'll have time in Charleston to like watch like 1 Gundam movies a day or some dumb shit like that.
Well, let's have that be a pod thing.
All right.
We'll figure that out after off the pod.
All
So,
right.
hey guys,
I'll do.
thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you back next week with more License to View.